I welcome you all in this session of Basic Mechanical Engineering. In the previous lecture, we have understood the meaning of a boiler. We observed some of the important terms inside the boiler. We also learned the comprehensive classification of the boilers. We studied 8 criterias upon which the boilers can be classified, 8 different criterias. Now we will understand the meaning of boiler mountings and boiler accessories in this lecture, and we will observe each of the mounting within a boiler with the help of a diagram. Now let us start with the boiler mountings. Please observe. Boiler mountings are the essential parts of a boiler. Boiler mountings are the essential parts of the boilers. Without boiler mountings, the boiler cannot operate or boiler cannot produce steam. These are the essential parts of the boilers, and without boiler mountings, the boiler cannot function. The boiler mountings ensure proper safety during the boiler operations. Okay, I think the things have been written in a very easy language and you can understand straightforward. Means without boiler mountings, the boiler cannot function and they ensure proper safety during boiler functionality. These are the boiler mountings. I have listed down or written down some of the important boiler mountings one by one. Let's observe. The first important boiler mounting is water level indicator. The water level indicator indicates the exact level of water inside the boiler drum. Water level indicator is a device that indicates the level of water inside the boiler drum. Clear. Simply indication about what is the level of water inside the boiler is made by this water level indicator. Next is safety valve. Safety valve is similar to that of safety valve of your pressure cooker. Please observe. Safety valve of a boiler is similar to that of your pressure cooker. When the pressure inside the boiler goes beyond the normal working range, then safety valve automatically opens and brings the pressure back to the normal working range. Please observe. Safety valve is the device which maintains the working pressure inside the boiler. When the pressure of the steam inside the boiler goes beyond the normal working range or design range, then safety valve automatically opens. Through this opened safety valve, steam escapes and the pressure inside the steam space remains controlled and brought below the working range or within the working range. So this is the safety valve which ensure the proper safety during the operation. I will tell you the functioning of each and every component with the help of a diagram. Pressure gauge, as the name implies, the pressure gauge is a device which is used to measure the pressure of the steam that has been produced by the boiler. The pressure of the steam is measured with the help of this pressure gauge. Usually the Borden pressure gauge is used. This is the meaning of the device. This is the name of the device. Borden pressure gauge is used. Steam stop valve. This is a very important mounting. Steam stop valve. When we want to supply the steam from the boiler to the point of application, then that can be supplied by means of opening the steam stop valve. Steam stop valve is simply opens or closes the supply of steam from boiler to the point of application. It is used to regulate, it simply regulates the supply of steam to the point of application as per the need. By opening and closing of the stop valve, we can regulate the supply of steam to the point of application. Clear. Feed check valve. Feed check valve is combination of basically two valves, that is feed valve and check valve. Feed valve is a hand operated valve while the check valve is an automatic valve. So feed check valve basically regulates the flow of water inside the boiler. Through this feed valve, the water is supplied inside the boiler, while the check valve stops the escape of water from the boiler shell. So this is the feed check valve that regulates the supply of water in or out of the boiler. Next is a manhole. A manhole is also provided within the boiler shell, which is an opening provided for cleaning and inspection purpose. Manhole is an opening which is provided for cleaning and inspection purpose. These are the important boiler mountings. Two important boiler mountings are there, please note. One is fusible plug. Fusible plug. Fusible plug is basically made up of the gunmetal, and when the water level inside the boiler falls below a certain level, the heat of the combustion is started to be utilized by the other important components of the boiler, and the boiler can explode. In this situation, the fusible plug melts and brings the fire to extinguish. With these lines, it is difficult to understand. I will make you understand with the help of a diagram the function of the fusible plug. Please keep in mind fusible plug. Next important boiler mounting is blow off cork. Blow off cork. That about blow off cork I will tell you in the coming diagram. Now these are the important boiler mountings. Two mountings has been left. First is fusible plug and blow off cork, that I will make you understand with the help of a diagram. Now another important term is the boiler accessories. Boiler accessories are not the essential parts of the boiler. Without boiler accessories, a boiler can function. Please note, mountings are the essential parts of the boiler. Without mountings, the boiler cannot function. But boiler accessories are not the essential parts of the boiler. Without boiler accessories, the boiler can operate and can deliver the steam. But boiler accessories enhance the performance or efficiency of the boiler operation. Note this basic point. Boiler accessories are non-essential components of the boiler. They are used to enhance the performance or efficiency of the boiler operation. Some of the important boiler accessories are feed water pump, injector, pressure reducing valve, economizer, air preheater, superheater, steam dryer or separator, steam trap. These are some of the important accessories. Of these important boiler accessories, three most important boiler accessories are economizer, air preheater and superheater. Please note these 3 points very carefully. You have to remember these names. Economizer, which is a kind of water preheater. Air preheater, which is used to preheat the air before the air is supplied to the furnace. Superheater converts the dry and saturated steam into the superheated steam. Please note these three important boiler accessories. Rest of the boiler accessories will be understood with the help of a diagram of a simple boiler. So economizer is the device which is used for preheating of the water. It utilizes the waste heat of the flue gases and used to preheat the water before the water is supplied to the boiler drum. Air preheater is used to preheat the air before the air has been supplied to the furnace. So it is used to preheat the air by utilizing the heat of the flue gases which are about to discharge in the atmosphere through the chimney. Superheater is utilized to convert the dry and saturated steam into superheated steam. So these are the three important boiler accessories which I have told you over here. Rest of the boiler accessories we will understand with the help of a diagram. So let's observe all the boiler mountings or accessories whatever we have seen with the help of a simple boiler. I am observing over here a diagram of a simple Cochrane boiler. Please note, simple, sorry, this is the simple Cochrane boiler. Please note simple Cochrane boiler. If you will go into the classification of the boilers, then you will find that Cochrane boiler is a kind of internally fired boiler. Cochrane boiler is a kind of internally fired boiler where the furnace is provided within the boiler shell. The furnace is provided within the boiler shell, therefore it is an internally fired boiler. The next important point, please note, it is a vertical axis boiler. It is a vertical axis boiler. It is an internally fired boiler because furnace is provided within the boiler shell. It is a vertical axis boiler. I think clear. Next, please observe. These are the important components of the boiler. Please note over here, this is the platform over which the coal is fired inside the furnace. This is the platform over which coal is fired within the furnace. This platform is known as grate. I have already mentioned in the previous video lecture. Grate is the platform upon which the fuel is fired. From the combustion of the fuel over here inside the furnace, the flue gases are generated. And these flue gases are allowed to pass through these tubes. Please see, observe the tubes. The flue gases are allowed to flow through the tubes while water is there inside the shell around the tubes. The tubes are surrounded by water. The water. Outside the tubes, there is water which is completely surrounding these tubes. So shell is containing water, and inside this shell there are tubes, and through these tubes, the shell is filled of water. There are tubes, and through these tubes, the hot flue gases generated from the furnace are flowing. Through these tubes, hot flue gases are flowing. Please observe, through these tubes, hot flue gases are flowing. So it is a kind of fire tube boiler. It is a kind of fire tube boiler in which hot flue gases are flowing through the tubes. This is a kind of fire tube boiler in which hot flue gases are flowing through the tubes while water is there outside the tubes inside the shell. The shell is filled of water. The hot flue gases are flowing through these tubes. Heat is transferred from the flue gases to the water over here. Heat is transferred from the hot flue gases to the water as a result of temperature difference. Heat is transferred like this from hot flue gases to the water. From hot flue gases, heat is transferred to the water. The water is converted into steam and it is collected over here. The water which has been converted into the steam by absorbing the heat from the flue gases is collected inside this steam space. This is known as steam space. The water is, after getting converted into steam, is collected into the steam space, while the flue gases, after discharging their heat or after giving their heat to water, are discharging through chimney to the atmosphere, are discharged to the atmosphere through the chimney. Please note, after liberating their heat to the water, the waste flue gases are leaving the boiler through the chimney to the atmosphere. The waste flue gases are now discharged to the atmosphere through the chimney. Chimney is the exit through which the waste flue gases, after supplying heat to the water, are discharged to the atmosphere. Okay. Now, any smoke particles which are carried by the flue gases are collected over here inside the smoke box. Any smoke particles which may come along with the flue gases are collected over here inside the smoke box. This is the smoke box. Now please observe, this is the whole body shell of the boiler, which is filled by water. Tubes are there. Now let us observe the function of each and every boiler mounting. Please observe over here. This is the water level indicator. This is the water level indicator that indicates the level of water. That indicates the level of water inside the boiler shell. Water level indicator. Please note, one of the important mounting. Water level indicator is used to indicate the level of water, exact level of water inside the boiler shell. This is the pressure gauge. Pressure gauge measures the pressure of steam inside the boiler. The pressure of steam here inside the steam space is measured with the help of pressure gauge. Bourdon pressure gauge is used for the purpose. Please note, pressure gauge measures the exact pressure of steam inside this steam space. Next is safety valve. Safety valve is similar to that of safety valve of your pressure cooker. When the pressure of the steam goes beyond the normal working range, safety valve automatically opens. Through this opened safety valve, some of the steam relieves to the atmosphere or discharged to the atmosphere, and again bringing the pressure back to the normal working range. Please note, when the pressure of the steam goes beyond the working range, then safety valve automatically opens. Some of the steam is discharged from this steam space to the atmosphere, and the pressure of the steam is again brought back to the normal working range. This is the function of safety valve. Another point observe over here is steam stop valve. A steam stop valve basically regulates the supply of steam to the point of application. As by opening and closing the steam stop valve, we can regulate the supply of steam to the point of application. When you want to use the steam, then simply open the steam stop valve. When we do not want to use the steam, then simply keep the stop valve in closed position. So steam stop valve basically regulates the supply of steam to the point of application as per our need. Now it is over here is the anti-priming pipe. The function of anti-priming pipe is to separate the liquid droplets from the steam. The function of anti-priming pipe is to absorb the liquid droplets from the steam so that dry steam is supplied to the point of application. Means from the steam, whatever the water droplets which are suspended in the steam. If water droplets are suspended into the steam, then anti-priming pipe separates those water droplets from the steam so that a dry steam is supplied to the point of application. And these water droplets are again supplied back to the boiler shell over here. I think clear too. So anti-priming pipe absorbs the water droplets from the steam so that dry steam is supplied to the point of application. Next, observe over here Important blow off cork. The function of blow off cork is very easy. It is a kind of tap fitted at the bottom of the boiler shell. Please note, if the water is having some sediments or some heavier impurities, then those sediments and heavier impurities are collected at the bottom of the shell. Please note, if the water is having some heavier impurities or some sediments, then those sediments and heavier impurities are collected at the bottom of the shell. Now, simply by opening the blow of cork, these sediments or heavier impurities can be taken out of the boiler shell so that pure water remains inside the shell. Please note, by simply opening the blow of cork, whatever the sediments or impurities, heavier impurities are there with the water, they can be taken out with the help of blow of cork. Please note. And also, when for cleaning and inspection purposes, for regular cleaning and inspection purposes, when the water can be discharged with the blow of cork. Please note another important function of the blow of cork. For periodic cleaning and inspection purposes, the water has to be discharged out of the boiler shell through this blow of cork. So water is discharged out of the blow of cork for regular cleaning and inspection purposes. And a manhole is also provided for entry of human beings inside the boiler for the purpose of cleaning and inspection. Please observe, size of the boiler may be even more than that of your house. They are very big in size. They are massive in their construction. Therefore, a manhole is provided that ensures the entry of the human being inside the boiler for regular cleaning and inspection purposes or for maintenance purposes. This is the manhole. Now, please note the function of fusible plug. The fusible plug is mounted over here. It is a kind of plug or valve which is mounted over. This is the fusible plug mounted over here. Please note, fusible plug not mentioned in the diagram. I am telling you the function of fusible plug. Here it is the fusible plug. Please note, when the level of water, what is the function of the fusible plug? The fusible plug is made up of gunmetal. The fusible plug is made up of gunmetal. So please note, when the level of water inside the boiler, falls below a certain level, then the heat of the flue gases is utilized by the other important components of the boiler shell. Because there is no adequate water inside the boiler to take the heat of these flue gases. When the level of water falls below a certain level, then there is not adequate water inside the boiler shell to use the heat of the flue gases. So heat of the flue gases is began to be utilized by the other important components of the boiler. Heat of the flue gases is began to be utilized by other important components of the boiler, as there is not adequate water present inside the boiler shell. And as a result of this, the other important components of the boiler starts getting overheated. As a result of that, an explosion may take place. In such situation, to avoid such a disaster or accident, a fusible plug is there, which is made up of gunmetal. When the temperature of other important components of the boiler increases, then firstly the fusible plug melts. Please note, the fusible plug melts. As a result of this, an opening is created over here and the water flushes into the furnace. And this water which is there inside the shell over the furnace, water flushes inside the furnace and brings the fire to extinguish. So that the temperature of the shell remains controlled. Please note, this is fusible plug which is made of gunmetal. When the temperature of the other components of the shell increases, then first of all fusible plug melts down. As a result of that, water flushes into the furnace and brings the fire to extinguish. The fire is extinguished and the temperature of other components is controlled. This is the function of the fusible plug, which is made of gunmetal. I think with the help of this diagram, we can clearly understand the important boiler mountings. We will observe other boilers in which we can clearly understand the functioning of other important boiler accessories as well. In this lecture, we will finish with this Cochrane boiler. In the next lecture, we will probably understand the Babcock and Wilcox boiler and Lamont boiler. Thank you.